If you want to live an extraordinary life, you have to design it, right? But what if there was a way that you could install the processes and strategies that would guarantee success without focusing on never-ending goals? Today, we're going to be looking at the best-selling book by James Clear called Atomic Habits. But make sure you stay with me till the end, because I'm going to reveal some practical strategies to help you create the life that you want today. So what is the life that you really want, and how exactly are you going to get there? Look, James Clear has written an amazing book, Atomic Habits. This was a massive game changer for me and the success that we've had with so many people all around the world, because it's all about habits. Look, it was Aristotle that said thousands of years ago that success is not an act. Success is a habit. We are what we repeatedly do. Look, I wrote a book in 2003 called Habit Busting. This was published in multiple languages around the world because this is a subject that people are fascinated. I think we all know deep down that we are our habits, and our habits are going to take us in a certain direction. But what James Clear has done, has written what I believe the best book on this area. And there's so much information I could give you. I really just want to highlight some of the real crucial bits of information that I believe if you apply them to your life, it will change everything. And please stay to the end, because I really want to give you a bonus idea that I also think will supercharge your success. So what exactly are habits? Well, it's the way that we move through the world. Look, the way that we have survived is that we learn things so that we can forget them. Take a moment to think about cavemen. Why would they learn anything? Well, they would learn something to survive, so the thing that they learn how to do, they could forget it because it would happen automatically. So they could then learn something else to help them survive even better. But today, we are not really needing to survive in the same way. If you want to thrive, then you've got to learn to use your brain in really effective ways. Because if you don't, you'll be a victim of your past conditioning. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence is a habit. So when we look at what a habit is, actually what a habit is what a nun wears, if you actually really want to look at the definition of what the word means. But it's not just what a nun wears, it's what you do every single day that is moving your life in a particular direction. So where is your life going to go? You see, what so many people want is they want rapid results. Lose 50 pounds in 50 seconds. Get rich in 5 seconds. People want rapid results. But success isn't an accident. It is something that happens over time. And the question is, are you prepared to make the investment in creating the result that you want? Because if you think about habits, habits are the answer to create the external results that you want, whether it's a certain amount of money, a house, a book that you want to write, or a business that you want to escalate, external things that you will see as a result of your efforts. But there's also the internal changes, which is what James Clear really talks about. If you want to make the internal changes to you, so you think differently, you act differently, and you get different results, that's what habits do. They change your neurology. They create new neurological pathways in the brain. But it doesn't happen like that. You've got to sow the seeds like a root of a tree that's under the ground, that the roots start to gain its traction in the ground and it becomes something very, very, very strong. And what James Clear talks about so beautifully is tiny equals mighty. What that means is it's all about compounding over time. And what's truly awesome is that he talks about if you worked on an improvement for 1% every single day, that after 365 days, you would be 37 times better than you were. But what a lot of people don't understand is the real laws of compounding. Because in my mind, how I used to think is that, well, if I then did that for 2 years, then I'd be 37 times 2. Which I'm not even sure what that number is because my maths is appalling. But when you compound something, it gets better exponentially, so that after 2 years, you'd be 1,400 times better than you were. And after 5 years, you would be 76 million times better. But the question you have to ask yourself is, how much do you really want the result that you want? We know that what drives human behavior in most cases is pain, is discomfort. People don't like the situation that they're in and they're driven to move away from it. But once they get comfortable, people invariably go back to what they know. Why? Because they don't identify with the results they want. They don't identify with who the results would make them be. And this is why I love James Clear's work, probably more than any other writer in this particular area of habits, because he talks about identity capital. He talks about identifying with who you could be. Because once you identify with who you could be, you then realize, okay, then what are the habits that this person has? And you start to work backwards. But it's the capital, it's the investment. And this is what I'd love you to take some time to think about. That if you wanted to be fitter, is it the last press up that makes you fitter? Or is it the first press up? It doesn't matter whether it's the first or it's the last, it's every single one. He talks about the stone cutter. Imagine you're someone who's cutting stones and you have some sort of instrument that is cutting the stone. Is it the first hit or is it the last hit? Every single one counts. And that is why it is essential that we wake up to the fact that it's the process. It's every single step along the way that moves you in the right direction. And if you can start to identify with the investment of building capital, that you'll start to see that everyone is as important as the first one. And this is how habit creation comes about. But I also love when he talks about the plateau, because the results that we often want, they don't come like that. They're not rapid. They come over time. Where most people give up is on the plateau. And he talks about loving the plateau. That when you often don't really see that you're getting the results, you don't have the transformation, you don't have the exact results that you want, and you understand that the plateau is part of the journey, and you just keep going, especially when you don't feel like it, that's where amazing things happen over time. And he talks about simplifying the battlefield. So he looks at the different steps that form a habit. So it's the cue, it's the reward. And what I would encourage you to do is to make your habits as easy to do as possible. So if, for example, when you wake up in the morning and you want to exercise, put your shoes or your shorts and your clothes right by your bed. If you want to read every single day, then put your book on your pillow. So before you go to bed, the book is there. You're making everything easier for you. And he also talks about the environment. You want to make the environment conducive for you to perform the habit that you want to have. And that can also mean removing the things in your life that force you to behave in ways that you wish that you didn't. Look, the last thing I want to share with you now, this bonus idea, is what James Clear talks about in failure premonition. Look, it's all very well having the premonition of what we want, and that is hugely important. But what is just as important is to take the time to think about doing what you're going to do and failing at it. Now, why would you want to think about that? Why would you want to think about doing something and failing at it? Because then you can start to think about how you failed. Because on this path to achieving whatever it is that you want to achieve, failure is coming. Obstacles are coming. And by doing this exercise, you can start to prepare yourself for what is coming. Look, a great life, it doesn't happen by chance. It happens by design. And the last thing I want to leave you with is with the image of Michelangelo. So Michelangelo, the statue of David that is in Florence, if you've ever seen this statue, apparently Michelangelo was asked, how did you do it? How did you carve out this incredible piece of art? And he said, all I did was take away what didn't need to be there. And what this says to me is our ability to see what it is that we want, to identify with that and start investing 1% every single day. If you don't make the investment, you could be moving 1% closer to where you want to go, or you could be moving 1% further away. The choice is yours. It's all about habits. Make sure that you read the book. It's fantastic. Atomic Habits by James Clear. And make sure that you comment below what is your number one takeaway from what I've shared with you. We know a great life, it doesn't happen by chance. It happens by design. It's all about habits. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.